Hello and welcome to our sacral chakra practice, our Svadhistana practice. This is our second chakra coming up from the root. It is the color orange, a beautiful orange color. If you know what a carnelian looks like, think of that color orange, like a fire orange. Actually, the element is water here. It's very feminine. It's a feminine energy, where the root chakra was masculine. The physical body parts that are associated with the sacral chakra are the small intestine, the reproductive organs, the kidney, the bladder, and the urinary tract. And also the circulatory system. So that was something that I didn't realize. Fun fact. So emotions would be joy, connectedness, feeling connected to self, to others. This is where we experience sexuality, sensuality, pleasure. And this is the seat of our womb space, our divine feminine energy, our creative force. So if we think about the masculine and feminine within us, which we all have, regardless of what gender you assign to, we all have masculine and feminine energy in us. And to create harmony within, we need to balance those energies. So the left side is our feminine side. It's our receiving side. This is our intuitive side, our creative flow, where the right side is our masculine flow, and it's our giving, our action, our organizational energies. So we need both in order to have balance. If we're out in this chakra, we might experience jealousy, anxiety, depression, detachment, shame, guilt. We might feel in our bodies constipation, back pain. We might have infertility issues, or urinary tract issues. So the sacral chakra also is all about polarities, that yin and yang play. So the best breath work, I think, to balance this masculine and feminine energy is the Nadi Shodhana, or the alternate nostril breathing. So that's what we'll begin with today to kind of balance the energies. So maybe take note, just right now, plug one nostril and breathe in, and the other. And notice if one side is a little more open than the other. It'll be interesting to see after this practice if you have a better balance. What I find with this practice is that not only does it open me up so that I can breathe more freely, I feel more balanced, I feel more centered, and I actually feel more grounded. So we'll take a couple of breaths just to kind of arrive on our mat, come down from the day. We'll take a deep breath in, filling in the abdomen, mid-chest, upper chest. And then on the exhale, just letting it all go audibly. Just sighing out, just letting the day go. So take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Another deep breath in and sigh it out. And another deep breath in. Letting your shoulders go. Making sure that you have that nice spinal alignment, head over heart, heart over pelvis. If it feels better in your body, if your legs are just not opening up, and we want this nice openness, working on the sacral chakra today. So sitting up on a block or a folded blanket to lift you up and have this nice, or maybe I'll sit like this. I need to back up more so that my ankles are on my mat. So I'll sit like this today. So we'll have our left hand on our left knee, the right hand in a hang loose kind of mudra. And you can stay like this, blocking the nostrils, or you can take your index finger and your middle finger to the third eye to kind of stimulate that intuitive energy in your third eye. So I'm going to take my glasses off and keep my fingers on my third eye. My left hand is up, my shoulders are down and back, my spine is nice and straight. Closing the eyes, you can keep your eyes open for the first few rounds if you need to look at me. Blocking the right nostril, we'll take that deep yogic breath in, the three-part breath from the abdomen, mid-chest, and upper chest. Pause at the top, and then slowly exhale and pause at the bottom. Here we go. Block the right nostril, close the eyes if you would like. Breathe in deeply. Pause at the top. Switch, plug the left nostril with the pinky, and slowly exhale through the right nostril. Pause at the bottom. Slowly inhale through the right nostril. Pause at the top. Switch. Slowly exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Pause at the top. Switch. Exhale through the right. Making sure your shoulders are not rounding, that you're still upright. Inhale through the right. Pause at the top. Switch. Open the left. Breathe out the left. Inhale through the left. Pause at the top. Switch. Exhale through the right. Pause. Inhale through the right. Pause at the top. Switch. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Pause at the top. Switch. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Pause at the top. Exhale through the left. Bring that right hand down to the top of the right knee. Palms are both up. Eyes are closed. Bring your breath back to a natural state. Notice how you feel. Notice if you feel more open in the blocked nostril, if you feel more balanced and more grounded. We'll bring our hands together and create some heat. Bring them to the heart space in Anjali Mudra. This time the elbows are relaxed. We're not putting pressure into the hands. And repeating the mantra in our mind, I am joyous, I am creative, and I am connected to spirit within me and all around me. You can bat the eyelashes open and drop the hands. We're going to come to a practice to stimulate the second chakra, the sacral chakra, the Svadhistana, both in the front body and the back body. As we talked about last time, this is a spinning ball of energy, disc of energy, and it doesn't just, it's not a flat entity on the front of your body, it's through and through. So if you're feeling some fear, you're feeling some anger, some anxiety, and you're holding on to it for too long, you may notice that you begin to have lower back and hip pain. So this exercise is actually, and I'm not saying exercise in regards to like a physical practice, though we are physically moving, but we're also bringing the breath to the body, which is all what yoga is all about, is moving energy in the body using breath and movement and intention. So we'll come to lying flat on the back. Feet are hip width apart and about a foot from your buttocks. We'll roll down from the center. Hands are flat on the floor, but parallel. Your arms are parallel to one another. The pressure's in the feet. So we're just going to begin with a gentle movement. We're going to push the tailbone towards the floor, which creates, I'm not sure if you can see this, just a tiny arch in the back, just enough so that you can put your hand in there if you want to feel in there. So this is a small movement. The shoulders are back and down, the hips remain on the floor, and then we'll curl it in the other direction. So it's almost like a mini cat-cow reclined. So the feet are pressing actively into the floor. We'll push the tailbone down, which creates a roundness in the belly, opening up the front body, and again, creating that little arch in the back. And on an exhale, we curl just slightly. So syncing up the breath with the movement and making the movement just slightly bigger, but not arching so much that it causes lower back pain. So we'll breathe in, pushing the feet, tip the tailbone down towards the mat, opening up the front body like in cow pose, and then exhale, slowly rolling the back down so that the sacrum is flush with the floor, with the mat. We're waking up this Svadhisthana chakra. Inhale in, tip the tailbone down, exhale, curl, not so much that you bring your hips up, just enough so that your sacrum is flat on the floor. Inhale, open the front body, exhale, flatten the sacrum to the floor. Inhale, open the front body, and exhale completely as you flatten the sacrum to the floor. So syncing up with your own breath, you don't have to go at my pace. Inhaling, front body comes up, the back body arches. Exhale, the back body rolls down so that the sacrum is flat on the floor. And as you sync up with your own breath, and stirring up this energy, picture a beautiful orange light from the top of your pubic bone to your navel, front and back. This beautiful, creative light Just a few more. Inhale. Tip the pelvis down. Exhale, curl it up just slightly. We're not doing, what do you call them? Pelvic thrusts. We're just coming, as I said, to a flat back on the floor. We'll bring the knees in and circle them around in one direction. We're massaging that sacrum area, the lower back, where the sacral chakra exists in the back body. And then circle around in the other direction, massaging that lower back. And we'll bring the soles to touch and Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined cobbler's pose. And bringing the hands to an upside down triangle, the shape of our womb space, right on top of that sacral chakra. And as you breathe here, allowing the hips to open, the legs to open, imagine sending healing energy to this chakra. So you inhale this beautiful light through your crown. It comes down around your heart space and out your arms, your hands, into your body. Sending yourself this beautiful healing energy. Mending any wounds from this lifetime or past lifetimes or ancestral lines. We'll bring the hands to the outside of the legs and assist them coming in, bringing the knees in towards heart space and up into a happy baby, spreading the knees wide. The hands are on the outside of the arch or on the inside, whichever feels best in your body today. I like the outside. Shoulders are down and back against the mat, and the feet are active and shining up towards the ceiling. Your knees are bent at a 90-degree angle as we kind of pull them back in the hip socket, opening up the hip joint. Breathing and relaxing into this pose. Maybe come back and forth, massaging that lower back a little bit more. In a playful, happy baby. You can even straighten one leg and the other, both, or stay static here in happy baby. We'll bring our legs in, give yourself a little hug. And then bring the feet flat to the floor. We'll cross the right leg over the left, the ankle, over the left thigh, just below the knee. And this is eye of the needle. It's a little different than a reclined pigeon in that we're going to keep that left leg straight as we bring it in. So we'll reach through the legs, interlace the fingers behind. If that's difficult to do today, then getting a strap in through here and then pulling it in is fine. Bent knee is fine. Wherever you're at today. We want the left leg. Remember, we're opening up the hips for the sacral chakra. So the right elbow will go into the right knee to press it down and away and open it up more if you want to open it up more. If this is feeling like you're getting a good stretch just like this, then so be it. That's where you're at today, and that is okay. As you breathe here, relax your shoulders down and back so that they're on the floor. Your left and right foot are active. They're flexed, but not straining. And as you relax here and breathe into this stretch, maybe you can bring that left leg in a little closer towards your body. Relaxing your face. Rolling your ankle if you're feeling a little tension there. We'll bring our legs down, uncross them, cross the left, over the right, reach through, grab that right hamstring, the right leg comes up, flexed, both feet are flexed. It's okay to have a little bend in the knee or a generous bend. Opening up the hip with the left elbow, pressing it into that bent leg, or using your hand to press that leg open. Finding where you can feel a stretch but no pain. Once you feel the stretch, on an exhale, try to relax and melt into it. And maybe you bring your leg in a little bit more. My ankles are crunchy today. It's okay to take these little movements. If you want a little sway there, that's okay too. Having been a gymnast, and a dancer, I spent a lifetime of like making sure your toes are pointed and everything is straight and stiff, and that's not what yoga is about. Yes, we want to get a good stretch, but really it's about not slamming your body into these perfect poses, but listening to your body and where it's at today. We'll drop the knees back down. Maybe windshield wiper them back and forth. We're going to come into a reclined twist. So we'll bring the knees back in. Left leg goes out. Right leg goes across the body. Right arm out. Looking over that right shoulder and adjusting so that you can keep both shoulders down. If this is tweaky in your back, maybe you bend both knees. Listen to your body. If it's not comfortable at all, don't do it at all. Sometimes putting a bolster over here to rest your bent leg on is nice. And you can have your hand on top of the bent leg to give you a deeper stretch in that low back and hip. So again, remembering that as we're opening up the sacral chakra area, it's not just the front hip and all Supta Baddha Konasana and opening up the legs, but we need to stretch out the hip from the back side as well. We do carry a lot of tension in, as I said, in the low back and in the buttocks. So both sacral and root chakra. Breathing. On an inhale, bringing the bent knees back into the chest. Moving slowly and with intention. Right leg goes out. Left leg goes over the body. Left arm goes behind you. Look over your left shoulder. trying to maintain contact with the ground with both shoulders. Doing that body scan that we always talk about. Where are you holding tension in your body? Bringing your exhale there. So inhale, feeling the body fill with this beautiful energy, and as you exhale, releasing the tension from wherever you're holding it. And then on an inhale, bringing your legs back up to center. Bent knees. Maybe a little sacral massage again with the hands on the kneecaps, one direction and then the other. We're going to go into the TikTok twist. When we're doing this TikTok twist, because the legs are straight and we're bringing them to one side and then the other, make sure you pull that mula bandha so that you have this energy holding you steady and securely in your core so that you don't tweak your back. It's okay to do this with bent legs if that feels better in your back. So I'm going to turn my body so that it's easier for you to see what my legs are doing. I'm going to turn this way. So your arms are out straight to either side. Roll them down and back, and then place your hands on the floor so that they're not, your shoulders aren't scrunched up to your shoulders. Your legs come up and then drop them open as far as is comfortable. Oops, got the couch in the way. We move over just a little bit. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to come to the side. We're going to do this slowly at first until the right leg touches the floor. Pause. And then continue down with the left leg. We want the feet to be even so that we're not up here. So trying to extend that left foot so that it's even with the right foot. Pause here for a couple of breaths. Feeling the stretch in the outer leg, top leg, and in the low back and hip. On an inhale, and from your core, from your center, bring your leg up as far as you can without lifting the right leg. Pause, and then continue up to center to a straddle. Take a breath in. Go to the left until the left foot touches the floor, and then continue with the right foot down until the feet are even together. And let's pause here for a couple of breaths. We'll inhale, right leg comes up as far as you can go without the left leg coming off the floor. Pause here. Make sure you're not holding tension in the shoulders, and then come up all the way. And then we'll begin to sync up with the breath. So take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, we slowly tick-tock to the right, all the way down. And breathe in to come up slowly. Pause and exhale to the left. Pause. Inhale up. Straddle. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Straddle. Exhale left. Let's do a couple more of these. Inhale up. Straddle. Exhale right. Inhale up. Straddle. Exhale left. Then bring the knees in. Give yourself another hug. Maybe rock back and forth. And we'll come to our right side and then push ourselves up to seated. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose in yin. This is a little bit of a mix of yin and yang, this practice. So we'll hold this pose for a little bit longer, but more of in a yang way. So you don't need to crank the feet in towards your body and put undue stress on the knees. If this is comfortable, you can stay here. But go ahead and bring your feet out just a little bit so that your sits bones are connected to the mat. You're grounded to the mat, to the surface beneath you. Your hands are on your feet. We'll take a deep breath in, lengthening the spine from crown to tailbone. And as we exhale, we fold over. We're not going to hunch over, but the spine remains long, almost like you're looking into a pool of water in front of you. So coming forward just as far as is comfortable until you feel a stretch, and allowing, if it's in your body, your elbows to come to the shins or the calves and pressing open a little bit wider. You can always bring a block to put your head on, and it's okay if you're here. Wherever you need support, you can place your hands on the floor if you need to, on the feet, and pressing open a little wider. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Maybe yesterday you were, almost flat on the floor, and today this is as far as you can come, and that's okay. Accepting where you are today. Inflating, feeling the skin of the back body stretch. And as you exhale, maybe you sink a little deeper into the stretch. Never to the point of pain. We'll take a deep breath in and begin to walk up. Maybe we lean back, do a little windshield wiper, do a little shake of the legs. We'll come into a straddle. It's okay to have a slight bend in the knee, as long as the knees are facing towards the sky and feet are facing towards the sky. Maybe a little active foot, little flexation in the foot. Again, that nice straight spine. Take a deep breath in, roll the shoulders back, and just begin to walk yourself forward. Maybe smile. Turn the corners of your mouth up. Inhale, grow that spine nice and long. Exhale, sink a little deeper into the stretch. Come to your edge, but not to pain. We'll begin to walk our hands back up. Maybe bend your knees and then bring them in. Maybe give them a little tappy tap. We'll come to fire log. So fire log can be a very uncomfortable position. If this is tweaking in your knees, then maybe come to meditation and just take a moment to breathe, or go into child's pose. What we're going to do is place the left leg in front of us, straight in front of us and stack our lower legs like fire logs. So the right foot is on top of the left knee, the left foot is under, so they're stacked directly on top of one another. Maybe give yourself a little wiggle so that you can try to get your hips even on the floor, on the mat, rolling your shoulders back. Spine is nice and straight. It's okay to have your hands maybe out and back behind your hips. This is a nice chest opener too if you place your hands back here. Not that we're working on the heart space, but it never hurts. So breathing into this, it's okay to give yourself a little push down if you're not feeling the stretch. Now, yesterday I did this and the distance here was a lot smaller, but I was very active this weekend with my puppy, and so my muscles are a little tighter today. So I'm just going to breathe into this, give a nice stretch, let go of the tension in my upper body and in my face. And again, trying to maintain the weight distribution between right and left sides of your body. Make sure you're not listing to one side or the other. Try to remain as upright as possible. Put our hands behind our hips and come back to uncross the legs. And go ahead and give yourself a little wiggle, a little windshield wiper. And bring the right leg on bottom, the left leg on top. Square up the hips. Spine is straight, chin is slightly tucked. It does help to pull a little root lock here to keep yourself centered so that you aren't finding yourself rolling out to one side or the other, or curling over or extending back. Coming to the breath, pressing down on that upper knee just slightly if it feels okay in your body to open up that upper hip a little bit more. And your hands can be wherever is comfortable, to the sides or maybe back. And pad up your ankles or your sits bones, wherever you need to, with a folded blanket. That sometimes gives you just enough support. Sometimes the blocks are a little bit too much, or a bolster is too much. Breathing here. And coming back onto the hands behind the hips, uncrossing, windshield wiper, and then we'll come very mindfully to tabletop. Going through our checklist in tabletop, that our hands are underneath the shoulders, the index finger pointed forward, the knees are under the hips, the navel draws up to the spine. We're looking straight down, not hanging our head, not dumping in, so we're energetically pushing away from the mat with a slight micro bend in the elbow, no locking of the elbows. We want this beautiful straight line from the tip of your tailbone to the crown of your head. Just taking a couple breaths here before we move into downward dog. We'll bring our hands just forward of our shoulders, curl our toes under, and from the center, bring our hips up. So before we push back, before we try to lower the heels, our hips, the energy is upward from the navel. So pulling the hips up, 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 up towards the sky, then pushing back through the hands, and not through, we don't want to push back through this part of the hand, dumping our weight into our wrists and tweaking our wrists. We want it spread out across the fingertips, especially right here in this area between the index finger and the thumb. So if you get the energy into that whole area of your hand, you'll take the pressure off your wrist. So pushing up, 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 pulling that energy up from the navel and then sending it back so that the head is not dropping down, is not looking up, but is right in between the arms. The energy in the hands is twisting out like you're opening up two mason jars. So, I mean, you're not going to spin your hands around, but you want to kind of pull them up, that energy out, so that the shoulders come down and away from your ears. And once we arrive here, stretching from fingertip to tailbone, then we can start to play with lowering the heels, maybe one at a time, with the breath very slowly, stretching out the back body, the back legs, the hamstrings, the calves, the Achilles. Rolling those shoulders out away from the ears, relaxing the muscles of the face and the jaw, and then coming to stillness, dropping the heels down. It's okay if you have a bend and if the heels are not all the way down, but if it's in your body type and it's in your practice, we'll come to this stillness for a few breaths. We'll take a deep breath in and bring that right leg up, keeping the hips square. So we don't want to bring it up so high that we start to roll out. Keeping the hips square, and on an exhale, curling up, bringing that knee in towards the chest, looking up and bringing it between the foot, between the hands, and then dropping that back leg. You can uncurl the toes, which may give you more stability. So you can stay here or here, whichever feels more stable. And once you arrive in low lunge, rolling the shoulders back, maybe your fingertips come to the earth so that your heart radiates forward. Take a deep breath in here and exhale. Take another deep breath in, bringing the hands to the hips. The hips are square forward, and from the navel, pushing yourself up slightly. Excuse me. So the motion is from the center. To keep yourself stable and from toppling over, the energy is pulling the legs in towards one another, towards that center plumb line. Maybe you pull a mula bandha. That center lock will hold you here. We'll take a deep inhale in as we extend the arms forward, up, and back for just a slight back bend. No tweaking here. Look up if you can without toppling over. Exhale, bring the hands down. Take a breath here and lunge. And as we exhale, push back into a hamstring stretch. This is where the blocks might be helpful. On either side, foot is active and flexed back towards your face. Your bent knee is at a 90-degree angle, so we're not sitting back like this. We're upright. It is okay if you have a bend in that knee, wherever you're at today. Take an inhale and extend that spine so it's nice and straight. And then as you exhale, come down towards that knee. Only as far as you can, and still maintain integrity in the spine. So we don't want to round down like this. We want to keep that energy crown to tailbone. Relax the shoulders. So inflate with the breath. And as you exhale, maybe you go deeper into the stretch. We'll take an inhale in, and on an exhale, begin to roll through that foot and back into low lunge. Maybe you have to adjust your foot so that you keep the knee over the ankle. We're going to take both of our hands on the inside of that foot and wiggle the foot out to the outer edge so that the foot is at a 90-degree angle. The toes are spilling off the mat into a lizard pose. This is a fantastic hip opener. So you can stay here, making sure that the knee isn't coming out like that. You can come down on your elbows. You know, your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. If you would like a deeper stretch, you can curl that back toe, lift the leg. Going to play around with what feels good in your body today without forcing. And if you're down here with your elbows on the mat and you want to open the hip up a little bit more, you can roll to the outer edge of that bent foot. Bent knee. So begin to roll back. If your knee is open, come up to the palms if you're not there. Bring the foot into the center of the mat. The hands frame the foot. Take a breath here. Then we will curl the back toes under if they're not already curled. Bring the right leg back into a plank or a low plank, wherever you're at today. We're going to come into, we're going to do a little vinyasa. So from plank, we're going to bring our weight forward, look forward, hug the elbows into the body, and slowly lower your body down, belly to the mat. Flip your toes. So your hands are here by your shoulders, but they're not pushing you up. This is all from the pelvis, the low back. We're pressing the pelvis into the mat. We're pressing the tops of the feet into the mat to bring us up with the breath. So we breathe in, open the heart, low cobra, baby cobra. We're not cranking the head up and we're not tucking the chin, but we've got that nice extension from the tail to the top of the crown. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. We'll inhale, press ourselves up to plank, half plank, or just plain old table, and then back into downward dog. Remember, the hips come up first. We'll take a few breaths here in downward dog. We'll ground through the right foot, lift the left foot up high. On an exhale, bring that leg in and up, in between the hands. Drop the right knee down into a low lunge. Get yourself squared away. Maybe flip the foot if that gives you more stability. Roll the shoulders down and back. Fingertips touch the earth. Heart shines forward. Place the hands on the hips, and on an inhale, press up from your core, strengthening that leg, bringing the legs, the energy inward to keep you centered from toppling over. Inhale, forward, up and back into a mini back bend. Exhale, bring the hands down. Take a breath here, low lunge. And as you exhale, come back into a hamstring stretch. Adjust as needed so that you have that 90-degree angle. Here, the front foot is active, toes are bent up towards the sky, knee faces the sky. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bring the chest towards that leg. Nice straight spine. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. It's okay to have a bend in the knee. If you need the blocks, then use the blocks. On an inhale, come forward, roll forward. Hands come to the inside of that bent foot, knee. We walk that front foot towards the edge of the mat. The toes spill off the side of the mat. So it's at a 45-degree angle. The knee is directly over the ankle. You can stay here in low lizard. You can bring your elbows down. You can bring your back leg up, extending that energy through your heel. Taking a few breaths here to open up that left hip. And if it feels right, you can roll to the outer edge of the front foot. We'll roll back, come up onto the palms, walk that front foot in. You can drop the back knee and bring the left foot back to a low plank or high plank and move through a vinyasa. So come forward, hug the elbows in, come down, baby cobra on an inhale. Exhale down, inhale, energy up into plank, low plank, or table, and then back and we'll meet in downward dog. Take a few breaths here in downward dog. On an inhale, we'll look up and take a very slow walk up towards the hands. Bringing the feet hip width apart. Make sure they're parallel. Knees can be generously bent. And Uttanasana, forward fold. Hanging like a rag doll, we'll grab opposite elbows. Feel your spine elongate as you stretch through the torso, the right and left side bodies, the lower back and the hips. If it feels better to be in a generous bend, that's fine. Shake the head yes and no. Inflating with your inhale, and as you exhale, letting go and coming closer to the floor. Release your hands to the earth, feeling your energy grounded, feeling connected, stable and secure. We'll take a breath in and begin to roll up from the center, from the navel, hanging the head and the arms and the shoulders, and just slowly coming up to mountain pose. As you arrive up, roll your shoulders down and back. Your head comes up last. Palms are open into the side of the body. Your quads are engaged. Slight tuck of the tail. Eyes are closed. Noticing if your feet are connected in all four corners, the soles of your feet. Your chest is lifted, noticing this beautiful upward current of energy in the front body and downward current of energy in the back body. We'll open the eyes and come to goddess pose. We're going to come back to the pose. Let me see if I can tilt this up so you can see me just a little bit better. We did this last with the root chakra. We're coming into goddess pose. So the feet are slightly wider than shoulder width, and spilled out to about a 45-degree angle, so that when you squat down in goddess, your knees track over your second toe. There's a slight tuck so that your spine is nice and straight. Your arms are like goalposts out to the side. So your upper arms are parallel to the floor. So we'll come down into goddess pose. We're going to do the exercise we did last week where we are engaging that energy from the root, the Mula Bandha. But this time, imagine it coming up through the sacral chakra. So we're seeing red, we're seeing orange, we're lighting up that energy, and we're connecting earth to heaven as we do that. So on an inhale, we come up to 5-pointed stars, spreading our arms and our fingers wide, pulling that Mula Bandha, pulling that energy up from the perineum, up through the sex organs, like you're doing a kegel. And on an exhale, we drop down into goddess, and then we release the Mula Bandha. So inhale, pull the Mula Bandha, pull that energy up, 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 and stretch up. Take up space, and exhale, come down, and then release. Inhale, root lock. Exhale, come down, and then release. Inhale, pull that energy up. Exhale, drop the body into goddess, and release. Inhale, pull the root lock up. Exhale, come down, goddess, release. Inhale, pull it up from the earth to the heavens. Exhale, come down and release. One more time. Inhale, pull it up, 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 up. And exhale, drop into goddess and release. Okay, so from here, I'm going to tip this back down towards my mat a little bit. I need a videographer is what I need. So the feet are going to spill off the mat just slightly, and from this position, we're going to drop into malasana, or a yogic squat. So as you do that, if you put your hands out here, it will help you to maintain your spine. If you're out here a little bit, that's okay. If you need to grab the floor to help you come down, that's okay. So we'll end up like this in Malasana. If your feet are up, if your heels are off the floor, you can go ahead and put a blanket maybe right in the center so that your heels are up on the folded blanket. But we're going to take a second to kind of work out any kinks in the hips. If you're up here, that's okay. Wherever, and if this is really uncomfortable in your knees and your hips, then come to a child's pose. Enjoy this time to just rest and relax. And then we'll come to stillness, dropping the heels if it's possible. And if you can, bring your hands into prayer mudra at the heart space. Your elbows are actively pushing against your inner legs, and your legs are pushing back. So there's that opposition. So you're pressing your hands together, you're pressing against your knees, and your knees are pressing against your elbows. Spine is nice and straight. You can close your eyes. And relax into this pose. This pose is so connected to earth energy, to our ancestors. And people around the world still do a lot of things in this pose. Cook, give birth, poop. It's a very grounding pose, but we're also opening up the hips and the sacral area of the body. A couple more breaths here. To come out of Malasana, put one hand in front of you and one hand behind you, or both hands behind you, to sit back on your bum. Bring your legs forward, maybe wiggle them out, get the circulation back in there. We have a couple more poses. We're going to go from table or downward dog into pigeon pose. So I'm going to go from downward dog, bring the right leg up in front. The left leg is back behind, straight behind you. If you need, you can put a block underneath this hip to bring the earth up to you, or a blanket. Play with your front leg. If you want a more intense stretch, bring the leg up further away from you. If that's too much, bring it closer to your body. So your front leg, the foot is flexed and engaged. The left leg is straight behind you. And we can come down. You can have your arms straight out in front. You can stack your fists like this. Bring a block or a bolster to lean on. Or you can stay like this. But try to keep the hips square to the front. And you can wiggle back and forth just a little bit and notice where you're tight. But find a place that's comfortable where you can feel a stretch but not pain. And let's take 3 to 5 breaths in that position. Sending lots of breath to the outer hip of that bent leg. And then walking the hands up, curling the back toes under, Lifting the hips up into table or downward dog. Taking a moment there. And then bringing the left leg up in front. The right leg is back. Flip the toes. Deciding where you want that front leg so that you can still remain with the left hip on the floor or on a block or a blanket. Both hips are square to the front. And then coming down over that bent leg for 3 to 5 breaths. We'll walk back up, curl the toes under the back foot, bring the hips up to table. We'll keep the toes touching, bring the knees as wide as the yoga mat, and send the hips back into wide leg child's pose. If this is tweaking on your knees, you can always sit up on a bolster or blocks, or you can bring your knees together to a regular child's pose. Hands are as wide as your yoga mat, stretching through the front body and the hips. And then on an inhale, walking your hands back up, swinging your legs through, we'll come to Svadhistana. So come to lying flat on your back in a very mindful way. Right leg to the right corner of the mat, left leg to the left. Hands are open, shoulders are snuggled underneath the heart space. If you have a bolster or a pillow, it might be nice to put that underneath your knees. Get yourself nice and comfy, a blanket if you'd like. And if you have time to lay here a little longer than we do in this video, then please allow yourself to do that. Taking stock in the body, noticing where your body meets the earth. Bringing any last movements into the toes and the feet, and then letting them just fall out to the sides. Relaxing your lower legs, your knees, your upper legs, maybe wiggling your hips, getting any last wiggles out there, unclenching your bum and your lower back, bringing them to stillness, relaxing your middle back, your upper back and your shoulders. Your shoulders are open, your heart space is open, wide. Your hands spill out to the side. They're relaxed. Maybe your fingers are curled just a little bit. Relax the muscles of your face and let your jaw go slack. And begin to feel your body sinking into the mat. Feel your body become heavy, heavy, and still. Your breath natural, slow, relaxed. Allowing this practice to integrate into your being, mind, body, and soul. Allowing stillness and deep relaxation. bringing your thoughts back to the mantra, I am joyous, I am creative, I am connected to spirit within me and all around me. Remain here for as long as you'd like in this stillness. I thank you for joining me in this practice, and I look forward to our next practice in the solar plexus, lighting a little fire in the body, rubbing my hands together, and if you're there, you can also bringing them to prayer at the third eye. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste.